Top 10 Main Battle Tanks. Often we receive many questions: which is the best main battle tank in the world? Which is the greatest modern MBT and why? Our top 10 analysis is based on the combined score of protection, firepower, accuracy, and mobility. None of the tanks listed here have seen combat against each other during military operations yet, and even though some things such as armor composition are kept in high secrecy, we know a lot about these machines. Data on their protection, firing range, accuracy, capabilities of their fire control systems, and so on are widely available. So we know capabilities of each of these tanks. This analysis is based on specifications and available data. All the tanks mentioned here are incredibly powerful and devastating. However, crew training of the tank is also an important factor, as performance of the actual tank depends from the crew performance. This list does not contain tanks that are currently under development at the prototype stage or tanks that never reach production. The only exception here is the Russian Armata, which was produced in small numbers for testing and evaluation, but is not yet produced in quantity. Currently, the top 10 best tanks in the world are these. Number 10. T-90 Russia. The T-90 is currently the only tank produced in quantity in Russia. It's not as sophisticated as its Western rivals, however it uses proven technology and is cost-effective. Currently, it's the most commercially successful main battle tank on the global market, and it's one of the cheapest among modern MBTs. The T-90 has a small profile, which makes it a harder target to hit. The significant drawback of the T-90 is ammunition stored in the main compartment due to its carousel-type autoloader. Once the hull is penetrated, onboard ammunition detonates by killing all the crew and destroying the tank. This drawback is common to all Soviet, Russian, Ukrainian, and recent Chinese MBTs. Western tanks have a separate compartment in the turret bustle with blowout panels. The T-90 is not as accurate against long-range targets, however it can launch anti-tank guided missiles in the same manner as ordinary munitions. Fire control system of the T-90 was adequate in the 1990s when this tank was introduced. However, currently it's outdated. The T-90 lacks advanced sights with thermal vision, as well as panoramic commander sight, which would allow it to detect and engage targets faster. Original version has poor power-to-weight ratio due to its underpowered engine. Later models were fitted with more powerful engines. The T-90 is currently in service with Russia, approximately 700, Algeria 305, Azerbaijan 20, India 620, Turkmenistan 40, and Venezuela about 50 to 100. The T-90 MS Tagil is a recent version with new armor, new engine, new gun, improved turret, updated observation and aiming system. It is significantly more capable than the baseline T-90. However, so far this version received no production orders. Number 9. Oplat-M, Ukraine. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukraine continued development of a T-80UD main battle tank. Their latest version of this tank is the Oplat-M. The Oplat-M is fitted with explosive reactive armor of a new generation. This MBT inherited from its predecessor automatic ammunition loading system. Ammunition is stored in the main compartment rather than a separate compartment with the blowout panels. It is a significant drawback of this tank, as once the armor is penetrated, it's likely that the ammunition will detonate, killing the crew and destroying the tank. This latest Ukrainian tank is not as accurate against long-range targets as its Western rivals. However, this tank can launch anti-tank guided missiles in the same manner as ordinary munitions. These have a maximum range of 5 kilometers. The Oplat-M has an independent commander sight with thermal vision, which gives the tank a hunter-killer engagement capability. This Ukrainian tank is superior to the Russian T-90 as it has more advanced add-on armor, more powerful engine, and superior fire control system. The Oplat-M completed Ukrainian Army trials. However, it did not enter Ukrainian Army service due to limited funding. The only operator of this tank is Thailand. Currently, the Oplot M is produced in small numbers. Ukrainian Army operates a small number of older and less capable Oplot tanks. Number 8. Leclerc, France. This French main battle tank entered service in 1992. Overall, it's a successful design. A number of design features of the Leclerc were later used on other Western tanks. The Leclerc was used during a number of peacekeeping and military operations. This French tank has advanced composite armor with add-on modular armor. Protection level can be tailored to the threat. Turret and hull roof was designed to withstand top attack munitions. However, in terms of protection, the Leclerc cannot match tanks such as the US M1A2 Abrams or the British Challenger 2. This tank is armed with a 120mm L52 gun. This MBT is operated by a crew of 3 and is fitted with a bustle-mounted automatic ammunition loading system. It has a high hit probability against both stationary and moving targets. It also has a hunter-killer engagement capability. It's claimed that the Leclerc can engage 6 targets located 1.5 to 2 kilometers away within 1 minute with a hit probability of 95%. That's an impressive result. The tank is fitted with a battlefield management system. It automatically reports to command post tank's location, quantity of ammunition, and fuel left. The tank has good mobility due to its 1500 horsepower engine and hydropneumatic suspension. Currently, it's in service with France, 406, and the United Arab Emirates, 388. Number 7. Type 90, Japan. The Japanese Type 90 tank was developed by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries in cooperation with German Krauss-Maffei and Mack tank manufacturers. It has a number of external similarities with the German Leopard 2. The Type 90 was officially adopted by the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Forces in 1989. Full-scale production commenced in 1992. At the time, it was one of the most advanced and, in fact, the most expensive production MBT. Original Japanese Army requirement was for 60 of these tanks. However, only about 340 were built due to high unit price. The tank was never exported, as at the time Japan laws did not allow export of military equipment. This MBT is armed with German Rheinmetall 120mm smoothbore gun, which was produced in Japan under license. It fires all standard NATO 120mm tank rounds. Unusual feature of the Type 90 is that this tank was fitted with a bustle-mounted automatic ammunition loading system. At the time, only Soviet and Chinese tanks had autoloaders, but these were not used on Western tanks. The autoloader allowed to reduce the crew to 3 men, as there was no need for the loader. This Japanese tank has a fire control system with independent commander sight. Another unusual feature of this tank is that it has a hydropneumatic suspension. It allows this MBT to kneel or lean, giving a number of advantages. In 2012, a new Type 10 tank was adopted by the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Forces. However, it's much smaller and lighter than the Type 90. Even though it's much more technologically advanced, in fact, currently it's one of the most advanced tanks in the world, it has inferior protection. Its main role is to support infantry with its firepower, rather than to combat enemy tanks. Number 6. Merkava Mark IV, Israel. The Merkava Mark IV is the latest Israeli main battle tank. It's a successor to the previous Merkava Mark III. The Merkava Mark IV was adopted in 2004. It's one of the most protected tanks in the world. This MBT has an unusual design with a front-mounted engine, which gives the crew additional protection and chance to survive if the tank is knocked down. Improved Merkava Mark IV Mile-Rauk tanks are fitted with a combat-proven Trophy Active protection system, which destroys incoming anti-tank missiles and rockets. This tank is also well protected against air-launched guided missiles and advanced top-attack anti-tank weapons. The Israeli tank is armed with indigenous 120mm smoothbore gun. The Merkava Mark IV is equipped with new fire control system that includes some very advanced features. One of them is a high hit probability firing against low-flying helicopters using conventional munitions. Mobility of the Merkava Mark IV is rather average due to excessive weight. even though it's fitted with a powerful engine. All Merkava series tanks have a rear compartment which can be used to carry troops and cargo under armor. It can carry up to 10 troops when ammunition is unloaded. The Merkava Mark IV is in service with Israel. A total of 360 of these tanks have already been built, and another 300 have been ordered by Israel Defense Forces. For a long time, these tanks were not available for export. However, in 2014, it was reported that Israel will export a number of these tanks to an undisclosed customer. Number 5. Armata, Russia. The Armata is a new Russian main battle tank of new generation. Pre-production tanks were first publicly revealed in 2015. In 2018, Russian MOD ordered a first batch of these new tanks. Exact order numbers were not disclosed, but it's likely that around 60 tanks were ordered. First production tanks were planned to be delivered during the same year. Once in service, the Armata will gradually replace the aging T-72, T-80, and T-90 tanks that become increasingly outdated. The Armata is a clean sheet design with a number of advanced features. It shares little in common with the current T-90. Also, the Armata is much bigger than its predecessor. Its specifications are classified. However, the Armata might be one of the most protected tanks in the world. It is a newly developed base armor made of steel, ceramics, and composite metals. Also, Armata has a new Malachite add-on explosive reactive armor. It's been reported that Armata will be fitted with a new Afghanet active protective system that's currently being developed. However, in 2018, it appeared that there are setbacks with development of the Afghanet. However, by 2018, prototypes of the system were not completed and were not ready for testing. The tank has a new countermeasure system that reduces the chance of being hit by enemy ATGW with semi-automatic guidance. This tank is operated by a crew of 3 men. All crew members are seated side by side in a well-protected armored cell, located at the front of the hull. It's the first production MBT with such crew layout. The tank can operate even with penetrated armor as far as the crew cell is intact. The Armata is the world's first production MBT with completely unmanned turret. It's armed with a new 125mm smoothbore gun that's more accurate than the previous Russian tank guns. This tank can launch anti-tank guided missiles in the same manner as ordinary projectiles. The gun is completed with an autoloader. This tank has a hunter-killer capability. It's been reported that this tank is fitted with a diesel engine developing 1,200 horsepower. Introduction of this new Russian MBT created a stir in the West. Now a number of countries such as Germany and the UK are looking to upgrade their tanks or develop new designs in order to counter the threat posed by this new Russian tank. Number 4. Challenger 2, Britain. It's a very capable tank. The Challenger 2 has the latest Chobham armor and is one of the most protected MBTs in the world today. It offers very high level of protection against direct fire weapons. This British tank is armed with a very accurate 120mm rifled gun. Its gun is rifled as opposed to smoothbore guns used by all other modern MBTs. Its maximum aimed range is over 5 kilometers. Currently, the Challenger holds the record for the longest tank-to-tank kill. The engine of the Challenger 2 is less powerful than of its Western rivals. It's also not as fast as other MBTs. However, this tank is famous for its mechanical reliability. The Challenger 2 is in service with the United Kingdom, 386, and Oman, 38. Number 3. M1A2 SEP, United States. The M1A2 SEP is a successor to the M1A2 Abrams. This tank has incredible technology and armor. It's also seen combat. It's one of the most feared MBTs. The M1A2 SEP offers significant protection against all well-known anti-tank weapons. This main battle tank uses advanced armor reinforced with depleted uranium layers. Its firepower and accuracy are slightly inferior to that of the Leopard 2A7 or the South Korean K2 Black Panther due to a shorter 120mm L44 smoothbore gun. Yet it still packs a formidable punch. Its complex gas turbine engines offers good performance but requires tremendous amount of maintenance, logistical support, and is thirsty on fuel. A number of older M1, M1A1, and M1A2 tanks were upgraded to this standard. The tank can be also fitted with a Tank Urban Survival Kit, TUSK, that improves survivability in urban environment. To date, very few Abrams tanks have been destroyed in combat. The M1A2 SEP is in service with the United States Army, at least 900. It's planned that this tank will remain in service beyond 2050. The M1A2 SEP has not been exported yet. However, the previous M1A2 has been supplied to Kuwait, 218, and Saudi Arabia, 373. Number 2. K2 Black Panther, South Korea. Currently, the Black Panther is one of the most advanced main battle tanks in the world, outclassing anything North Korea or China have. Furthermore, it's the most expensive main battle tank to date. Deliveries of the K2 Black Panther tank commenced to South Korean Army in 2016. As of 2017, at least 100 tanks were delivered. South Korean requirement is for around 300 of these new tanks. They will eventually replace the older K1 tanks. This tank uses composite armor of undisclosed type and explosive reactive armor modules. It's claimed that front armor withstands direct hits from 120mm tank rounds fired from L-55 guns. Its protection level is broadly similar to that of the M1A2 Abrams, considering that the K2 is much lighter. The Black Panther tank is also completed with an active protection system and countermeasure system that further increase its survivability on the battlefield. This new South Korean tank is armed with the latest German 120mm L-55 gun, similar to that used on the German Leopard 2A6 and 2A7. This tank has a very advanced fire control system, which can spot, track, and fire automatically at visible vehicle-sized targets, and even low-flying helicopters without needing any input from a human operator. The K2 also uses advanced munitions. The Black Panther is fitted with a powerful diesel engine. It's fast and has a state-of-the-art hypopneumatic suspension. Number 1. Leopard 2A+, Germany. In a recent version of the proven and successful Leopard 2 design, it has additional armor and updated electronics. The Leopard 2A7+ is well protected against conventional and urban warfare threats, such as RPG rounds and IEDs. This tank has better accuracy and longer range of fire comparing with other tanks due to its powerful gun and advanced fire control system. During numerous international tank challenge competitions, the Leopard 2 series tanks outperformed American M1A2 SEP, British Challenger 2, French Leclerc, and some other tanks in terms of overall performance. This MBT is powered by a proven multi-fuel diesel engine, developing 1,500 horsepower. Despite increase in weight, the vehicle has increased mobility due to improved suspension components. Cross-country performance is similar to other Leopard 2 series tanks. German Army ordered a first batch of 20 Leopard 2A7 MBTs, upgraded from Leopard 2A6. Deliveries commenced in 2014. German Army plans to upgrade 50 to 150 tanks to the 2A7 standard. Qatar ordered 62 of these MBTs and Saudi Arabia more than 200. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.